Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel on Human Design. I'm Pragya and I'm back with another video. Actually, before I get on, I want to show you the view just because it's such a pretty rainy day right now. And as an indirect light being, I just deeply enjoy circumstances like this and also feel very creatively alive. But moving on to the video, I wanted to talk about a topic that I have personally come to deeply appreciate, experiment with, and see a lot of positive results in my projector life. We talk often a lot about the projector strategy of waiting to be recognized and invited as a projector so that we can actually guide others in the way that we're meant to, in a way that feels really aligned, not only just for us, but for the energy being in front of us. But often I find that just by itself doesn't really cover all the nuance or what it really means to live as a projector. And as we all know, the not self theme of a projector is bitterness. And I think bitterness is not only just a result of not being properly recognized and invited, or not waiting to be properly recognized and invited, but also that we choose to stay invisible. So recently, I had been feeling kind of invisible and unheard in my relationship. And as you would understand, as a projector, that really sends you in a resentment, bitterness spiral. And in that spiral, you begin to question, am I really recognized and invited here? Is this really the correct relationship for me? And so on and so forth. And instead of going down that route, what I started to do was observe myself in my relationship. And what I found very quickly into observing myself in my own relationship was that I was choosing to not really show myself in small, minute ways, and then having this expectation from my partner that he would understand me or that he would see me, even when I was choosing not to show myself. And the small ways in which this showed up was me not choosing to watch the video that I really wanted to watch, or me not sharing what I'm really excited about in the moment with my partner just because I'd already decided within myself that they wouldn't be able to understand, or choosing to not do certain things in front of him just because I recognize that it wasn't really natural for him to exist in that way. And in all of these small ways, I began to perform in my relationship. And without realizing, over a period of time, I began to feel invisible. And it wasn't because he doesn't recognize and want my presence and my awareness in his life, but that I had already decided on some level that there were certain parts of me that were not acceptable to him, or that he couldn't recognize, or that he couldn't appreciate, because I recognized who he was. And this made me think, when did I start doing this? When did I subtly start editing myself? When did I subtly begin to change myself in order to fit in? And I think for every projector, this goes way back and is a deep, deep coping mechanism. You see, as a projector, very early on in life, you face a lot of rejection. You are seen, but never really fully in your entire presence. And because of that, there is this subtle editing that you begin to do, this subtle change, these parts of yourself that you begin to hide in order to feel less rejected. In order to feel less rejected, you begin to subtly reject yourself. And before you know it, this has become your coping mechanism. This has become the way that you lead your life. And because we do this, we start to feel invisible, unheard, unseen, even in relationships in which we're actually deeply recognized. I had no idea the depth at which this coping mechanism existed within me. I began to witness this pattern show up, not just in relationship with my partner, but with so many other relationships in my life. And this has nothing to do with trying to guide someone without being recognized or trying to guide someone's energy without them asking for it. This has nothing to do with encroaching on someone else's space, but everything to do with how we show up in relationship. If I'm never going to show up as myself, I'm never going to be seen even when someone wants to see me. You choose to hide what TV shows you actually enjoy. You choose to hide what you actually spend your time doing. You choose to edit it a little bit. You choose to talk about the things that you think that the other person is going to be interested in. You choose to laugh at the jokes that you know they will find funny. It's so easy as a projector to mimic the other. It's so easy as a projector, especially me as a mental projector, to mimic my environment. And I've really come to realize how deeply harmful that has been for me. Because I wonder how many relationships I was actually recognized and could be seen for the awareness that I bring, but I just chose to stay fearful and in the comfort of only showing what I thought was palatable. Maybe the other person needed to see parts of me that they didn't agree with. Maybe the other person needed to hear about things that they're not inherently interested in. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they chose to still not see me. They chose to still not recognize me for my awareness. But at least I wasn't editing myself out and disappearing in the process. There is a very subtle shift that happens in you when you recognize that, yes, I'm here to guide the other because they recognize and invite me, but also without my guidance, I am still someone and I deserve to exist. I deserve to exist as I am with all of my interests and dislikes and likes and quirks, opinions. I really wanted to come on here and very candidly talk about this realization because it has changed the quality of my relationships tremendously and helped me understand that the onus of the other person recognizing me is not just on them, it's on me actually showing up as I am fully without hiding. And then, even if they don't recognize me, even if they don't see me, even if they don't hear me for what I'm trying to say, at least I didn't edit myself out of the story. At least I didn't disappear from the frame. At least I didn't pretend to be someone different than I'm. And that kind of self-recognition is deeply, deeply valuable.